Hey guys, Jake here with eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the TruXedo TruXport soft roll-up tonneau cover on your 2019 Chevy Colorado. With a soft tonneau cover that has the capability of rolling up, it's going to be very convenient to get it in place to keep those items that are on the inside of your bed out of the weather and protect them from theft. Another feature about these that people really like, I've read a couple of reviews, is that it's not going to be the panel style hard tonneau cover that is going to fold up into panels, and it's either got to store in the first third of your bed or straight up in front of your back window. When this tonneau cover is rolled up, it's going to sit in a nice little roll about 6 inches in the front of your bed at your back window, and you're still going to be able to see out of your rear view mirror and use your bed as if you don't have a tonneau cover at all. The cover is going to have a vinyl construction with a double stitching here on the end and on both sides. What's nice about this vinyl that they use on this cover is that it's going to be a no maintenance vinyl. You're not going to have to put any dressing on it to keep it this nice dark black color. So it's going to resist fading and sun damage when it's out in the sun. Now what's going to set this tonneau cover apart from other soft roll-up tonneau covers is that this one is going to have 2 support ribs. You can see I'm pushing down on them right now. Here's the middle without a support rib. These support ribs are going to be great for those times when you may have a lot of snow in your area, or it just may be raining and you don't want any of that water to sit on top of your tonneau cover. These are going to help to give your tonneau cover a little bit more rigid base. What it also helps with is when you're tightening it down, as you can see I have it very tight right now. That is because with the help of the hook and loop straps on the sides and the cam style tightening system on the back. So when you tighten down the cover, it's going to tighten it front to back, but the hook and loop straps on the sides is going to allow you to pull it side to side to get a nice clean flat look. On both of your side rails, the rails that you place on top of your side rails, they're going to have a foam pad on both sides, and this is what's going to seal against the side of your truck bed to be able to protect it from getting any water on the inside. Now when we open up our tailgate, you can see we have a nice rubber strip here on the back that's going to seal against the top of our tailgate. What I like about this design is that you're going to be able to close your tailgate with or without the cover closed. So a lot of tailgates you can only close your cover with the tailgate open, but with this style flap you can close your cover with or without the tailgate closed. Now on both sides of the cover you are going to have these latches that are going to release your cover so that you can roll it up to your cab. You simply push down. Now we already had our passenger one undone, so you would normally have to either unlatch both at the same time or do one at a time. You do want to be careful when your cover is new. If you have as much tension as we have, you can see you do have to pull pretty hard to get it to latch down in place. So what can happen is that you can have a popping action and you don't want that to happen. So if you just put a hand on top, it'll stop it from popping up. If you look right here, this is going to be that cam style tightening system that I was talking about. So when you put this hook in that receiver, it's going to pull. You can see our cover getting tighter and tighter as we pull down and then latch it into place, which is where you get that nice tight fit. But we'll go ahead and open it up and start rolling it back. What's nice about this cover I like is that you can roll it back and it'll simply the hook and loop straps will come undone as you roll it back. You saw our first support rail. Here's our second one. These are going to sit down on the inside of these rails, giving your cover that extra support. Once you get it back to this point, there are going to be included bungee straps to be able to loop it over top of the cover and hook it into the appropriate hooks on the front. This is what's going to keep your cover in place when you're traveling down the road. Now you can see the convenience that this cover will provide you with. With it rolled up here, I can tell you it's only going to sit on the inside of your bed about 4 inches, so you're not losing a whole lot of space on the inside of your bed to use it as you would before you had this cover. The cover itself, from our inside rails, it's only going to stick in to the inside of these brackets about 1.5 inches, but the cover itself is only about 1/2 inch for the rails. For our side rails, they're going to stick up also about 1.5 inches up on the side. Not a huge deal. If you're hanging out with your friends or neighbors, it's still going to be comfortable enough to where you can lean on the side of your truck if that's what you like to do. Overall, I think it's a very clean fit for the Colorado. It's nice if you don't want that panel style system, but you want to be able to roll it up and use your truck as you did without a tonneau cover. The rails are going to have an aluminum construction, so you're not going to have to worry about any rust or corrosion over time. They are going to have a nice black finish, and our brackets are also going to be aluminum. So again, not having to worry about any of that rust or corrosion over time. Another added feature, now that we have the cover rolled up, you can see there's going to be a double foam seal up here on our bulkhead, because there is going to be a bit of a gap between our side rails and our bulkhead. The bulkhead's going to sit a little bit lower, so they did include a second seal to put there, so you don't have to worry about any water coming in from the front of our bed. Another positive comment I have about this cover is going to be the ease of installation. Here at eTrailer, I've installed a lot of tonneau covers, and I will have to say this is going to be the easiest one to install. It's not going to be super particular on your spacing between your side rails supports like your folding tonneau covers are, or your roll-up tonneau covers, or your drum style tonneau covers. This one's going to be very, very simple to install, but with that being said, let's go ahead and show you how to get it installed. To start our installation, I'm going to go over a few things just so you know that you got everything in your kit that you need. You're going to have your bulkhead seal, your 2 rails, your 6 clamps, 3 for each side of the bed, your cover itself, and then you're going to have this circle plate of 4 different seals that are going to go on the end of our side rails. So now we know that we have everything in our kit. We're going to go ahead and get our bulk seal installed. With your bulkhead seal, it's not going to be sticking on the side with the white tape on top of it, but that is simply to keep it clean. What we're going to do is we're going to peel it back. This side is going to be sticky. So what we want to do is we want to stick it to our bulkhead on the top portion when it is flat. So you're going to have this curvature, but right where it's flat, you're going to start laying out your seal. So we'll take our seal, and you want to get it as straight as possible. You want to make sure this surface is clean before you do this. All I did was I took a little bit of rubbing alcohol and cleaned it off to make sure that our seal will have a nice tight stick to it, especially with these new liners they're coming out with, the embed liners. They can get dirty and hold dirt, so you want to make sure it's clean when you're sticking it down so that your seal doesn't peel up over time. If you want a little tip on how to get it straighter, if you do larger sections like I am now, you can hold it in a straight line and then run your hand along it, and you will get a very straight application. Once we get here to the end, we're going to take a knife or a pair of scissors and cut it to length right at the edge of our bed. Just be sure that we have a nice tight hold. You want to go through, push down on the top, the whole thing. And once you know you've got it secured well enough, take your white strip, you can peel it off. Next, we're going to take our cover itself, and we're just going to set it in place on top of our bulkhead. We're not going to be installing it right now. We just want it in place so when we're ready for it. This foam seal is going to be sitting on top of the bulkhead seal that we just installed. So on your little disc, you're going to have 4 different foam pads. 2 of them are going to have a perfect 90 on the corner. It's going to come to a point, and 2 of them are going to have this circle, this half circle cut out of the corner. These are the ones we're going to install. They're going to match up to the ends of our rails that are going to go up by our bulkhead. Set them in place and stick them down. We're going to want to do this for both. Make sure you apply enough pressure so that they hold it in place. Up here on the top of the same corner piece that we just showed you how to put the pads on, it's going to have a letter. Here we see D, on the other side it's a P. The D stands for driver's side, so we'll go ahead and install this rail on our driver's side. To set them in place, you just want to set them on the side to where the inside of your rail is flush with the inside of the side of your bed. And we'll lift up our cover, slide it up. Now before you insert the side rails into the end of your bulkhead piece, there is going to be about 1 inch of foam that's on the bottom of this sticking out from the manufacturer. What you do, take a pair of scissors and we're going to cut that off. It's not going to fit right if you have that extra foam sticking out the end, because that's where our side rails need to go. Now before we get our clamps in place, we want to make sure our rails are straight on the side of our bed rails. So with the Colorado, it's really easy because you just have to line up the edge of our rail here with this line that goes all the way down the edge of the rail. So you can see we have ours nice and straight. You want to make sure both sides are straight and your bulkhead is sitting straight on the front of your bulkhead. So with that being said, now we can come down to our clamps. One little helpful tip is it's going to be easier to install these clamps if you just go ahead and take the bolt all the way out. With the bolt in place, you may not be able to open it wide enough to be able to get it around the sheet metal on the edge of your bed. Starting with the U-shaped clamp first, you're going to have part of it that's going to have teeth on it, and then the other part's going to have the nut side for your bolt. Take the teeth end, and where your bed comes out here, you're going to get it as close as you can to that. Slide it up into place, hold it there. You're going to put the other side with the teeth in. The teeth are going to be on the inside rails, and then thread in your bolt. I like to thread them in as far as I can by hand before grabbing a socket and ratchet, just because it helps to get the teeth lined up a little bit better. So now that we know that we have our teeth inserted in the slots on our side rails, you want to make sure that those do make it inside the rail, or the grooves on the inside of the rail, because you will crush those grooves and ruin your side rails. Now that we've got that figured out, we can take a 1/2 inch socket and go ahead and start tightening it down. You do not want to over tighten this because you can damage the side of your truck bed. You just want to make it snug. When installing the other 2 remaining clamps on your side rail, you want the second one to be in the middle of your bed and the last one to be as far as you can to the rear without hitting this jut out that comes out of your bed. So in order to line these up, we measured it earlier. These 2 rails, if you go in the center, right where this knockout plug is, that's going to be the center of your bed. We go ahead and tighten that one down. And then here on the end. Now with all of our clamps in place and our side rails secured, we can go ahead and roll back our cover. While we're rolling it back, we want to make sure this bar is going on the inside of our rails. Looks like our first one made it, second one made it. When we get back to this point, we're going to have to put 2 more seals on our corners. Now with our 2 remaining foam pads, we can go ahead and take a pad. And these pads are going to matter which one goes on which, because they do have a different orientation, so you can match it up. Peel the little pad off and stick it on this corner piece here. There we go. Make sure it sticks on there. We'll take the other one and put it on the passenger side. Now with our pads in place, we can take our cover, slide it into our 2 slots here and here, and this is what's going to lock our cover into place. It's good to have a little bit of tension on it. Lock it down. That's what's going to give it a nice tight finish on our bed. Now we can go ahead and close up our tailgate. There is going to be a rubber seal here on the back, so you want to make sure it's going to have a nice tight fit against that rubber seal. And we'll come along the sides and make sure our hook and loop strap are nice and secure. One little tip is when you're putting this hook and loop in place, you want to pull a little bit so that your cover is nice and flat across and you won't have any wrinkles. Well guys, once you got everything nice and safe and secured on your tonneau cover, you're ready to hit the road and enjoy your TruXedo TruXport soft tonneau cover.